Welcome to the Meditation Realm Planeswalkers. I'm Caleb, your guide to these blind eternities. And in today's video, we're going to be opening up on our beautiful Lord of the Rings map here. A Lord of the Rings commander deck. We're going to be opening up Sauron's deck, the Hosts of Mordor. We're going to check out the sweet new cards in here. There's also some pretty good reprints. See if we get lucky in that collector sample booster. Apparently there's some really expensive foils in there because there are certain borderless cards that you can only get in foil in that spot. So we'll see if we get lucky here. Seems like this has the normal inserts here. We got the 1/1 counters. It looks like you got something here to represent the one ring bearer for your commander. It's got the commander deck. It's little notes on what the deck is and who you have in there. Some other punch outs. Here's our collector sample pack. Oops, just tossing that around. We got the spin wheel that comes in every one of these for your life counters. I don't see very many people who use these. Almost everybody just switches over to dice. And then, you know, what we generously call a deck box that they put in there for you. It is something compared to what they used to have. You didn't have anything to put them in right away, so it is a step up. Alright, let's see our baddies for this deck. And the big baddie himself is Sauron, Lord of the Rings. Whenever you cast a spell, amass Orcs 5, mill 5 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then we have Saruman of the White Hand. He's a 2/5 for 4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, amass Orcs 5, where X is that spell's mana value, and goblins and orcs you control have ward 2. Yeah, I feel like my lighting's off a little bit here. Let me adjust. There we go. And then we have Treason of Isengard. I think we're going to go through some of the commons and uncommons in the deck now. These are all from the new set, so they are new. Bitter Downfall, Troll of Khazad-dûm. But if you've seen any of the box opening videos or played in Limited, you've already got to see and play with a lot of these. Arcane Denial in a sweet art reprint. I like that. I do like that these cards have new Lord of the Rings art. You know, like Consider's got a new art. Deep Analysis. It's going to make playing a lot of these a lot more fun in decks because just of the new art. Forbidden Alchemy. Feed the Swarm, one of the better black enchant removals that they introduced over the last few years. Seems to be in every black commander deck. Anger. I would imagine Sauron is usually angry. All the sweet new art. One of the best things I do like about this set is that everything has new art for it, just like the 40k. I have an Arcane Signet for Mana Rock. And then I found out that the Soul Rings are going for a lot of money. I was really surprised. Chalice. Well, at least it got a good chunk of Mana Rocks. Mind Stone. I would hope to see the other signets in here. Oh, I think I passed a rare. Corsairs of Umbar. 3/3 for 4. 3 in a blue. Target goblin, orc, or pirate can't be blocked this turn if you pay 2 in a blue. When it deals combat damage to a player, amass orcs 3. Okay. So it starts making big dudes. And then we got the Monstrosity of the Lake. Enters the battlefield, you may pay 5. If you do, tap all creatures your opponents control, then put a stun counter on each of those creatures, and it has island cycling. Okay. So these are some of the rares from the commander decks. We have Subjugate the Hobbit. Gain control of each non-commander creature with mana value 3 or less. And that's a good way just to kind of steal the whole board. Definitely wrecks the token player. Shelob, Dreadweaver. 3/3 for 3 in a black. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, exile it. 2 in a black. Put a creature card exiled with Shelob into its owner's graveyard. Put 2 1/1 counters on Shelob and draw a card. X, 1 in a black. Put target creature card with mana value X exiled with Shelob into the battlefield, tapped under your control. So thematic, you get to kind of play with your food and roll around where the exiled creature goes to. Cavern Horde Dragon. I think this is going to be one of the better ones for Commander. It's a 6/6 dragon for 7 and 2 red. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls. It has flying, trample, and haste, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. So if you have somebody who just played a dark side, and let's say they created 7 treasure tokens, you get to play this guy for 2 red. You go to attack, and then unless they blow up all their treasures on attack, or they still have a bunch there, you get to create a bunch of treasure tokens yourself. So this guy's going to do a lot of work in Commander. I see this guy being one of the bigger hits going forward. Orca's Siege Master. It's a 0/5 for 2 and a red. Orc Soldier, trample. Other orcs and goblins you control have trample. When it attacks, it gets +X+O until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Okay, so Mash is the biggest dude on the board and beats face. Rampaging War Mammoth. It's a 9/7 for 7, 5 and 2 red. With trample, cycling X for X, 2 and a red. And when you cycle it, you destroy up to X target artifacts. So it's a little expensive on being able to destroy artifacts, but it's not casting a spell, so that has some uses. The Balrog of Moria. 8/8 with trample haste. When it dies, you may exile it. When you do, for each opponent, exile up to 1 target creature that player controls. It has cycling for 3 and a red, and then when you cycle it, create 2 treasure tokens. That's interesting. Basically an awkward ramp if you cycle. Grima, Saruman's Footmoon. 1/4 for 2 blue and a black. He can't be blocked. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then that player puts the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of their library in a random order. It's okay. Being able to cast stuff for free is always strong, especially against the right decks, because sometimes you just hit a big spell and then totally blow the game away. In the Darkness, Bind Them. It's a saga for 2, a blue, a black, and a red, and it has 3 steps to it, or 4 steps, and the first 3 are create a 3/3 black wraith token with menace, and the ring tempts you. And then the 4th and final chapter is for each opponent, gain control of up to 1 target creature that player controls until end of turn. Untap those creatures, they gain haste until end of turn, the ring tempts you. So you get tempted, this tempts you 4 times with the ring, so you're going to get it off with this and be at max temptation. And then you have a bunch of tokens, presumably if they haven't killed your 3 off the first activations, you get to steal a bunch of their creatures and swing out on somebody. This is really strong. I can see this seeing a lot of play in Grixis decks. Lidless Gaze. Exile the top card of each player's library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards, and mana of any type may be spent to cast them. Or 2 black or red, and has flashback. Cool. I like this card. Good way to be able to hit some other land drops of other people and play some other stuff. Lord of the Nazgul. This is somebody who's seeing potential to be a commander himself because of the Nazgul and the other wraiths. It's a 4/3 for 3 a blue and a black. It has flying. Wraiths you control have protection from ring bearers. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you create a 3/3 black wraith creature token with menace. Then if you control 9 or more wraiths you control have base power and toughness 9/9 until end of turn. So suddenly it just makes your board huge and you swing out with a bunch of 9/9s and blow people out of the water. I think he's going to be fun. We have a Moria Scavenger. It's a Orc Rogue for 1 a black and a red. It's a 1/4 with Death Touch and Haste. You can tap it and discard a card to draw a card. If the discarded card was a creature card, you amass Orcs 1. I guess that's helpful for the graveyard reanimation strategy. We have Summons of Saruman, amass Orcs X. Well, I guess it costs a blue, red, and X for a sorcery. Amass Orcs X, mill X cards. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value X or less from among them without paying its mana cost. And it has flashback for 3 a blue and a red, and exile X cards from your graveyard. Okay, so this kind of helps fill your yard. You can hit another spell and cast it for free, and make a token. So this could see some play. Definitely in the right deck. This is going to be a Graveyard Matters deck to an extent. So, Too Greedily, Too Deep. It's a sorcery for 5 a black and a red. Put target creature card from a graveyard into the battlefield under your control. That creature deals damage equal to its power to each other creature. This is going to be a fun reanimation board wipe. This is going to do a lot of work. And the fact that that creature deals the damage means you could reanimate something with Death Touch and blow up the board. Or, something that's got lifelink and then all of a sudden it's going to gain a bunch of life. That's going to be pretty sweet. Wake the Dragon. It's a sorcery for 4 black and a red. Create a 6/6 black-red dragon creature token with flying, menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, gain control of target artifact that player controls. And it has flashback for 6 a black and a red. This is going to be another fun one to play with Commander, because you know, especially if you give this haste, you play this, you swing it out, you get to steal something of theirs. And then we have a Relic of Sauron. It's a 4-drop mana rock. You can tap it at 2 mana in any combination of blue, black, and red, or you can pay 3 and tap it to draw 2 and discard a card. It's a little expensive for a mana rock, being at 4, but it does add 2, and it's got a loot on it, so relevant in the late game. The Black Gate. This is a land from this deck. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters tapped. You can tap it to add black, and you can pay 1 a black and tap it. Choose a player with the most life or tied for most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. So this lets you be able to swing at the player with the most life pretty easy. And it's a legendary land as well. So it's Gate, with what relevances it has with all the gate mechanics that have come out over the last couple years. Ooh, we got Decree of Pain and a reprint. So now back to the reprints. Languish. Living Death. Reanimate, another powerhouse. Good power reprint, value reprint. Blasphemous Act. Goblin Dark Dwellers. Inferno Titan. He looks sweet in that art. Again, all this new art looks so awesome. Nullspine Dragon. Scourge of the Throne. Siege Gang Commander. Treasure Nabber. This guy's underrated. He's a lot of fun to play in Commander. I highly recommend you play him if you haven't. Hostage Taker. Notion Thief. He's always kind of a pain. I know people get upset at Notion Thieves. Choked Estuary. Desolated Lighthouse. Summit. Drowned Catacombs. They have been doing better on the mana the last few years, I will agree. Foreboding Ruins. Frostboil Snarl. They aren't as bad as they used to be. Smoldering Marsh. Sulphur Falls. Sulphurous Springs. Sunken Hollow. Underground River. Soul Ring. Now this Soul Ring is supposedly going for a lot of money because people really want that sweet new art, which I can't blame them, but man. We got a Worn Power Stone. Command Tower. Again, the sweet new art on everything. It's going to be so fun to be able to play these in new decks. Evolving Wilds. Field of Ruin. Always good to play a Field of Ruin type effect. A land that destroys a land is relevant. Rogue's Passage. Terramorphic Expanse. And then I think we're down to basics. Yep. Good chunk of basics in the deck. You know, I wish they would have a little less. I mean, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 basics. I think they could have done us a little better on the land count there. That's a lot of basics. I don't know if playing it right out of the gate will make it a rough mana base. They have some good mana lands in there, you know, as far as dual colors and whatnot, but that is, yeah, definitely kind of rough. Oh, and all the wraiths on the back, that's funny. That's a lot of basic lands, especially if you're playing this right out of the gate. All right, let's see if we can get lucky with our sweet collector sample booster. I know a lot of people get kind of deceived on the wording on it because they think you get a full collector pack in here. No, it's just a sample. It has 2 cards in it. But you can get lucky. So let's see what we get. We get a Phial of Galadriel, non-foil in the borderless. And then we have Gothmog, Morgul Lieutenant. Usually 1 rare and then 1 common or uncommon. Thank you for joining me, Planeswalkers. Always glad to have you here. Like, share, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you here in the next video.